Hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Heroic Wanderings, my YouTube channel where I share my thoughts and experiences around being a spiritual wanderer. And if you are someone who is a spiritual wanderer or is thinking about being a spiritual wanderer who no longer feels at home in their belief system, welcome, and I hope that you will find some things to affirm your journey here and make you feel like you're not alone. I want to talk a little bit today about what it actually means to me to be a spiritual wanderer so that I'm not just throwing these terms around. And you might realize that you are one, but you just didn't have a name for it. And so I sat down the other day and made a list of all the things that came to mind when I thought about being a spiritual wanderer. And if any of this resonates with you, I'd love to hear your comments. Visit my Facebook page, Heroic Wanderings, and drop a comment or drop me a message. It's always nice to know that you're not alone. So here's my list or my manifesto about what it means to be a spiritual wanderer. So for me, a spiritual wanderer is someone who cannot confine themselves to one belief system or one set of rules around what to believe and how to believe it and how to live that out. A spiritual wanderer is someone who has felt a call to a larger, more universal spiritual journey, and one that transcends and goes beyond or crosses all of our artificial boundaries around being human, our boundaries around religion and dogma and culture, and this sort of tribalistic mentality around who's right and who's wrong. A spiritual wanderer is someone who believes that divine truth is hiding all around us and finds joy in discovering it in the most unexpected places, almost as if life and the spiritual journey is one big scavenger hunt, and everywhere we go, we can find treasure. A spiritual wanderer is someone who believes that there are 1,001 names for the divine, and that we can use any or all of them as we feel in the moment. God, Goddess, Great Spirit, Gitchi Manitou, Wakantanka, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Brahma, Creator, Spirit, the Force. We tend to think that when we name something, we own it. And so using many different names reminds us that the divine is something so far beyond our ability to define and conceptualize that we have to use many different names to get at all the different facets of how we connect with that greater power. A spiritual wanderer believes that everyone has not only the right, but the mandate to find and follow their own path, because it will grow them and expand them and empower them and lead them to their full potential and allow them to bring their music into the world to heal and add to the evolution of humanity. And that is what we most need right now. A spiritual wanderer chooses to let themselves be led by love and curiosity and awe and wonder rather than by fear and judgment. A spiritual wanderer loves to find the pearls of wisdom in all the different spiritual traditions and to add them like beautiful beads to their necklace of understanding and knowledge. A spiritual wanderer will not tolerate religious abuse, manipulation, or wounding of others. A spiritual wanderer believes that any concept of a jealous, tribal, or ego-driven God is a human invention that is way, way too small for the amazing, generous, abundant, creative, imaginatively loving force that created everything there is. A spiritual wanderer believes that everything is infused with divine presence and that we can therefore find wisdom, inspiration, and guidance everywhere if we're awake and aware. in nature, in music, art, poetry, dance, movies, novels, in the turn of a tarot card, in signs and synchronicities, in holy writings, prayer, meditation, in walking, sport, good food, and in every experience that feels significant in some way. A spiritual wanderer is someone who will slip and flit away like a joyful butterfly from any belief system that tries to pin down their wings. A spiritual wanderer is more interested in what works, what supports and affirms life and love, and the joyful unfolding of each person, rather than in rigid definitions of right and wrong, and the need to decide who's in the club and who's not in the club. A spiritual wanderer has no interest in any belief system that leverages shame or fear to win people over, that tries to convert them out of fear of eternal punishment, or that begins with a notion of sin, fallenness, or the need to be saved. A spiritual wanderer knows that there may be no final answer to anything, and takes joy in the journey, in holding space for what is not yet known. Someone who is willing to sit in the uncertainty and always hold space for what is yet to be discovered, and to feel excited that new understandings are always around the next corner. A spiritual wanderer is someone who believes that everyone has a direct pipeline to the divine, and that we are being whispered to and called to, sung to, and wooed at all times by loving, guiding forces leading us to our highest good. A spiritual wanderer believes magic and miracles are not just a thing of the past, but are under our noses every moment, and we can participate in them. A spiritual wanderer believes that spirituality is a matter of the heart, and that letting the heart lead is the most freeing, empowering, healing, revolutionary, and true act of faith that there is. And finally, a spiritual wanderer believes that each one of us has a song all our own to sing, and that our purpose here is to become so fully ourselves that song can be unleashed and become the greatest gift that we give to the world. So what does it mean for you to be a spiritual wanderer, or to hold to a belief system that enriches and affirms your life? Let me know in the comments. And remember, not all those who wander are lost.